here on Kiwi. Dramatic music designed to create tension for the trailer and sound really important. The movie is called The Raid. Lena Lamont is our film reviewer, of course, been in and seen it. The Raid. I saw an ad for that just online before, and I was thinking, never heard of that before, but then you come in and want to talk about it. So
yeah, good.
Nice. Yeah.
Good. That shows I'm on trend.
Yeah.
Doesn't it?
Totally.
The Raid. Indeed, that is dramatically tense music for a dramatically tense movie. It's extraordinary. And I think probably the reason you and a lot of listeners won't have heard about it before is that it's an Indonesian film.
Ah.
We don't get that many Indonesian films on these shores, let alone films that are going to have as wide a release as The Raid.
Yeah.
And it's basically a martial arts, in inverted commas. It's much more specific than that. It's a particular type of martial art. Seemed to me, with my extremely high training in martial arts, that it was a mixed martial arts sort of movie. And it's action, action, action.
Gosh, it looks violent. Just watching the trailer, very violent.
Unbelievably violent. And I try not to say that gleefully, but honestly, that's what the film is all about. How many ways to skin a cat, if you will. It really is. The basic. Okay, so it's called The Raid. It's set in a Jakarta slum. And it literally, the film only takes as long as it takes to conduct this raid, basically. The SWAT team go in, and they're after the drug dealer who lives pretty much at the top of the council estate, and who seems to own the council estate and everybody in it in that inimitable sort of drug dealer / criminal way. And the SWAT team make their way in and swiftly find that things are beyond their control, and it's basically a question of busting their ways out.
And everyone has an unlimited supply of ammunition.
Ammunition, all sorts of weaponry. Amazing physical strength and, as I say, martial arts skills. So, I mean, plot spoiler? No, not really. But, I mean, a window is smashed and somebody is thrown through the window and doesn't quite let go out of the window and lands on the glass. Well, there's a way.
Right, that's one way.
That's just one of many, many ways. But this isn't just... Oh my gosh, the audience that I was with when I saw this film was completely ecstatic, because it was just a combination of going, oh, or laughing at the absolute horror of it all, the surprise and the horror, if you will.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it isn't just, 101 minutes of bloodbath. Amazingly, to me, they managed to be some very charismatic lead characters. You've obviously got your good cops and your bad cops and your good baddies and your bad baddies, all of whom have a little bit of a backstory, and who actually, this film was sort of punctuated with moments of decent dramatic acting and genuine tension, because obviously it's the hunters suddenly being hunted. It's just an extraordinary film.
In this film?
Yeah, like totally. There's dialogue
okay,
in Indonesian as well, and
Right.
it is subtitled. Yeah, absolutely. There's dialogue,
Indonesia,
and there are
who
twists
knew there
in
was
it
a
and
film
everything.
industry?
Well, the kind of funny story about this is the film was made by a young Welsh bloke. I think his name is Gareth Evans, a very Welsh name there, and this is his third film of this genre, using a lot of the same actors, and really sort of, I keep wanting to call it sort of, it's exploitation, it's kind of grindhousey kind of style, and he has sort of honed this filmmaking craft. So yeah, Welshmen in Indonesia making a real scene of these. Extraordinary film. And I think one of the other things about this film, which may either sell it or kill it for listeners, is the bloke from Linkin Park did the soundtrack for one of the versions. Now, the version of the film that I saw didn't have the Linkin Park guy soundtrack. It had exhilarating music, like fantastic music, and I don't know whether the release version in this country is all Linkin Park dude or whether there's a mixture. I don't know. I'd like to see it again, actually, with the Linkin Park soundtrack.
So tailored it for various markets, so it could be different in the US.
Quite clearly, yeah.
Okay, The Raid. So right now on to something completely different.
Pack your bags, come to the country for a performance you will never forget.
Who the hell is that?
My money's on Tom Jones.
Behold Sir Adam Drummond.
Well, you're all on my payroll, so let's do some singing. Tamsin Ford, Dorabella.
Hi.
Nicoletta Lampedusa, Fiordaligi, Martin Mays, Guglielmo, Tom Chambers, Ferrando. And you are?
Philip?
Who?
The director.
What the heck is this?
Maybe this is more up your alley, Wammo. I don't know. Wouldn't like to say. This is
Any
a film,
violence?
Don't hesitate to shout it.
Not so much. No. It's rather violent on the sense as if you are the sort of person to take offence to over-the-top acting and a lot of am-dram theatricalness. But I don't want to do it down too soon. This film's called First Night. It's completely different from The Raid. First Night is as you can probably hear, it's a British film about a rich industrialist played by Richard E. Grant. And unfortunately in this he's a little bit more like he was in the Spice Girls movie than Withnail and I. Of course, Withnail was Richard E. Grant's sort of seminal bursting out into the industry kind of
But everyone's got to make money.
performance. Pardon?
But everyone's got to make some money.
You've got to make some money somehow.
yeah.
So, and indeed, as the rich industrialist in this film, he has always wanted to put on a production of Mozart's Così fan tutte, and he's always wanted to sing one of the parts himself. And not being a professional singer, he hires a cast of professional singers, including Sarah Brightman. Does that name ring a bell with you? From the late 80s and the 90s. Sarah Brightman is she was the muse for a time to Andrew Lloyd Webber. I believe they were married also, and she's the old Phantom of the Opera lady.
Right.
So she returns a little bit like a phantom from the opera in this film here. I was thinking, how old is this woman? She must be in her 50s by now, and she looks like she's had a little bit of work done. And she is quite, I think striking, certainly. And to be fair or unfair, if anybody overacts, it's Sarah Brightman in this film. But the rest of the cast, half of whom I think are professional singers, do an amazing job with the Mozart. So every time they get together to do a bit of rehearsal and do a bit of performance, the singing is absolutely sublime.
Seems
and you
like
think,
it'd be
this
very,
is wonderful.
Very camp sort of film.
It is a very camp sort of film. And in that typical sort of Mozart / Shakespeare / old theatre kind of way, it's a little bit like Noises Off, or one of those plays where you've got people running from room to room and somebody thinks that you're so-and-so and they overhear something and assume something that isn't happening, and it's got all that kind of farcical side to the story. But as I say, in this one, punctuated by absolutely gorgeous bits of music. So it really depends what you're in for as to whether you're going to sit through and go, oh my goodness, this is so cringy, and then actually, that was lovely, that lovely piece of Così. And then, oh my goodness, here they go at it again. So, yeah, I was quite mixed with this film. I didn't rate it incredibly highly, but I suppose it really depends what you're in for.
It'll be big with Grey Power members.
I would say so, and certainly my father, having even read the review, and I gave it 2.5 stars, and he was still like, but really, do you think that I would like this film? He's the biggest Mozart fan on the planet, so chances are he probably would. So just be warned. But with this and The Raid, know what you're going in for.
Yes, two very different films. Thank you very much for those reviews. You can
Always a pleasure.
Find more in the Sunday Star Times and lenalamont.wordpress.com. See you next week.
Nice to know what I'm worth.
Dog's getting pissed, sir.
Who can blame him?
And life imitate art. What do you think, Phil?
First Night.